that's an interesting discussion, which leads us into our next discussion, which I think is the nature of this. If you look, Sean Layden, obviously coming from PlayStation, how good does Game Pass look? That
changes it a little
This
bit.
is where Microsoft, I think, has the solution and answer, because you're right, $70 for whatever reason. It's only $10 more, right? But for whatever reason in your mind, that seems like a lot of money. If you're a kid and you're dependent on your parents for buying you a game, you buy 2 games, it's $140. You're getting 1 game, 2 games every 6 months, maybe, if you're lucky, right? Like your average kid out there. But with Game Pass at $10 a month, $15 a month for Game Pass Ultimate.
Well, what's the year? Like, don't they have the year passes for like $79 or something like that?
100. Let's just say it's $100, right?
Yeah.
We'll round up. $100 for the year. How great of a deal does that look? And does this solidify Microsoft as the true leader for the next generation going forward?
It's definitely forward thinking. Remember, they started doing this a while ago, and it is the best deal in gaming. I mean, you get new games every month. I mean, even just if you were to spend that money on that $70 game, or have for a full year 300 games to play, and have them be new titles like Halo Infinite or like Sea of Thieves when it came out, or Forza, right? That was next generation thinking.
Yeah.
Or that they put in place years ago.
Even a developer like EA with their annual sports franchises, we're talking, I mean, 2K is the one that's really, 2K21 is really setting this up as the first game to go to $70 on these next generations. Look at a game like EA Access, a program like EA Access, that really becomes more of a value to you in this next generation, especially with yearly franchises and sports releases.
Yeah.
Can 2K do that? I mean, so this is a question to you guys, because I don't play sports games.
Oh, their basketball game.
It is the basketball game.
It's the
Mine,
only
that's all my
basketball
nephews
game.
play.
Well, I mean, I guess you have
EA is
NBA,
live,
yeah, but I mean,
Will-
2K is the big one.
Will they still maintain their user base? Meaning, will $70 turn off people that would have otherwise bought it if it was at $69? I mean,
I don't
or
know.
$59. Sorry,
I don't know. I mean, I think if you're in on that, you're all in on that game, to where each year you're buying it anyways. It has to be good. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
It can't be a minimal step up. Here's the other thing too. They're talking about. So I get it in a game like a Red Dead Redemption. That game, I would pay $70 for that game
because you get hundreds of hours
because
in return.
The value profit is there. They're also, and keep in mind, I'm not talking about Red Dead Online. I'm just talking about Red Dead Redemption or a better game is Witcher, because Witcher does not have an online component.
Spent $100 on that game.
There you go. There you go.
Over $100.
But I would pay $70 for that game because I get the costs involved with that. They're also not making money on any other side of that game. It's a single player, standalone. It's a one-time sell, right? They're making money, with licensing and stuff like that, I'm sure, right? But for the game itself, a more difficult sell is actually the 2K, because 2K sells card packs. They sell stuff in game that are very popular modes in the game that you open up. In fact, every big streamer is, when they stream NBA, streams these modes, right?
2K has that mode as well. It's their version of Ultimate Team.
It's their version of Ultimate Team.
Microtransaction mode in the game.
It's a microtransaction mode in the game where you buy cards. It's Hearthstone mode.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah.
And so 2K, I don't know. I think there are games that justify the cost, and there are games that maybe don't justify that cost because they're making money. They've figured out how to make money in other ways, i.e. free-to-play games, i.e. 2K with their card pack system that you're purchasing in-game.
But see, that's what gets you, though, is you're paying $70, and then you have the suite of microtransactions that are in there, right? I think that's why they're taking a lot of flack. And in addition, it's not necessarily a free upgrade, depending on the version that you buy, right?
But if it's on Game Pass, I mean, game like you said, Spicy, I think Microsoft has been hitting the ground running this entire year, this entire past couple years leading up to this next generation. I think they see, look how much these games are going to cost. Netflix approach to gaming is the future, and that seems to be what Game Pass is. And getting their studios, buying all these studios is a part of that strategy. because it's all going to be about exclusives. What ecosystem are you in? What exclusives are there?
And just you can have this one game or have 300. Obviously you'll get that one, or you can have this game with the 300.
Well, because they're not. I mean, there's heavy games on there. Like Red Dead's on there, right? Is Red Dead 2 on there now? Game Pass?
It was.
And then
with Grand Theft Auto or Red Dead 2 and then Grand Theft Auto 5 was both on.
But
Game
you're
Pass.
getting. I mean, Metro was on there, right? It's taken off now, but it's. I mean, you're getting big games on there. Not to mention, like Mark said, you're getting all first-party titles on Game Pass. So Halo Infinite, whatever the initiative is making, all that good stuff, right? Game Pass, it's like you said, it's the best deal in gaming.
Yeah, all I know
is
this is the first time that I've went to a price.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like, I mean, because we grew up with all the different prices. I had a paper route since I was 4 years old just so I could get my games that I needed, right? That's why I worked as a kid. I mean, it's kind of why I work now, so I can play games, right? This is the first time in my life going,
yeah,
$70
for whatever reason. Just going that extra $10 feels like you're really close to 100.
Well, you're $10 closer.
Because we had, you had the $19 games, you had the $29, then you had the $39. That was N64 era. Then you had the $49 and then the $59, and that's where we've been for the last 15 years. And those all felt okay.
Yeah, chat right now is having a discussion that I actually agree with. I think it's going to first of all, Game Pass. I think this is the future of gaming, right?
For sure.
Well,
especially if the prices are doing this.
Well, I mean, Game Pass it's amazing.
Yeah,
it's the best deal out there. And then we're just talking about regular Game Pass. You talk about Game Pass Ultimate, which gives you Game Pass,
games as well.
PC games, and Xbox Live
so it's
for a bundle, right?
Value.
Game Pass is literally the Big Mac Monday deal of video gaming. You guys remember Big Mac Mondays?
Oh yeah. What's the Taco Tuesday?
Yeah, you're losing money if you're not going there. You know what I mean?
Well, then they had the Burger King games,
Yeah, those were good. They should bring those back, actually. Those were actually fun games.
I still have them. I love it. Where the Sneak King.
Pocket Racer.
Yeah, the Sneak King where he's like, the game, you got to go sneak the burger in and go, ta-da, you have your burger.
To wrap this up, I do like the discussion that Chad is having on the $70 price point. I'm okay paying it. Someone in chat mentioned they're okay paying $70 with Cyberpunk. There are games that I think justify it, that you can see. Games though that have an online mode where there are microtransactions that are going to make up that cost, I don't think should have it.
Yeah,
should have that price.
It depends on the developer, right? Like I've spent over at this point. Mark spent more, but I spent over $100 on Hearthstone, right? I've spent over $100 on Escape from Tarkov. I've spent, a company like CD Projekt Red. You know what I mean? Like
even myself, I typically don't buy these things, but in a game like Vigor, I've purchased crowns.
I mean, if I enjoy the game and the game is good, I don't mind supporting the developer.
For sure,
but,
for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just something, like you said, something about $70.
Are we gonna look at now an industry that has a lot more fluctuation in pricing? Because
perhaps
it's been pretty standard, except like the smaller games, and that was just basically introduced this generation. Before, everything was $60, but then you had the smaller games, the arcade, and I think that's probably because of arcade and indies became more prevalent. But are we going to now see $70 games, $50 games, $30
I think so. If
games?
we're moving to more of the direction of consoles, and also if developers are going to have to start competing with deals like Game Pass to sell standalone stuff, then you will see more competitive pricing there. I mean, look at Steam.
Or
Steam made PC gaming completely. I mean, pricing there is completely fluctuated.
Or will you start to see more things like, let's take the latest one, for example, Warzone, Call of Duty Warzone. It's free to play, but they're making a lot of, and that's a AAA game.
Actually, you have to pay your data cap to get that game.
Oh yeah. That's how
You're
they
paying
get
your
you.
internet company for that game.
That's how they get you.
You have to download the entire game.
They made a deal with internet companies worldwide.
It's the biggest free-to-play game you could ever imagine.
If you look at those games like Fortnite and Warzone and Apex, they're free to play, yet they're making more than a lot of these AAA games.
Yeah, but you can't do a single player story that way.
Yeah,
maybe they will. Maybe someone will figure out.
But see, and that also brings up the point. Okay, well, Do I buy a $70 single player game, or do I get a free to play? You know what I mean? Like it's
Witcher.
gonna be.
I would pay for Witcher 3 single player. Like that's a big single player game.
Yeah.
Hundreds of hours.
Exactly. And so I think we're going to see. I think that brings up a good point. I think we are going to see fluctuation, and I think there is. For instance, I'm more than willing to pay $70 for a Cyberpunk, for a Witcher 3, for a Red Dead.
For Madden.
Not for a Madden. No.
And it will
No
be.
way.
It
No
will
way.
be if that's. I
2K
mean, if
still,
2K comes out at $70,
Madden
Madden's
makes
going to be
so
$70.
much money off their ultimate cards.
2K's doing both. They're double
Yeah.
dipping.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how it
They
goes.
double dip. Well,
We'll see how it goes for them.
Chad's making another good point. Do you pay 70 bucks?
70. What did you say?
$70.
Whoa, you got it.
What did he say?
I think I said a bad
He
word.
said 70 for bucks.
Yeah,
Oh, do I
70
need
bucks.
to? Are you going to make me have to go back on this show?
He said we just have to. We don't have to move this to adult. He said 70.
Dang you, Jordan.
George just said, "Are you gonna have to pay 70 for cucks for that?" Right? Like,
No, things are getting real expensive. That's a deep. Now, Jordan, that is a different currency altogether.
No, they're talking about do you pay $70 for a game and then additionally all the DLCs and expansions and stuff. I mean, that's a lot of money for one game. You know
for
what I
there, again, it depends, and it depends on the scope. Would you do that? Let me ask you this, because you played all the DLCs, Witcher 3.
mean? Yeah.
$70 plus then DLCs. I feel like that game, those DLCs are big enough.
No, I mean,
in-depth
The
enough
Witcher
that
is
justifies
The
it.
Witcher is a unique situation
Yeah.
where I am willing to pay that, right? Because the game is so good, and I don't mind supporting the developers
Yeah.
in that way, right? But
No, but Madden-
again, Witcher was $60.
But like you said, 2K,
That's $70.
2K is doing
That's
it.
true. See, there's. I don't know why the gap is so far in my brain. But
I know, it's
$60
only-
is fine.
Yeah.
But $70 is the.
I know it's.
Oh.
Everybody's saying it. It's only $10, but it's still it's $10 closer to $100.
That
you know, it's
feels a lot heavier.
Yeah.
Especially when you can get consoles for $200. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Anyway, it's gonna be interesting, and this is just what 2K did. There's been no like industry announcement saying, "Hey, all these developers are gonna start selling at $79.99," right? So maybe 2K is just like, "Hey, let's see what happens."
Well, I think we're going to start seeing
But-
that the norm for really
Yeah.
big single player experiences. I would not on record right now. I would not purchase it on Madden for that price.
Yeah.
I use the yearly
well, I
release.
think the reason 2K is taking a lot of flack too is because if I were to buy Cyberpunk or Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I get a free upgrade to the next generation. Whereas if you buy the $100 version of 2K, you get a free upgrade, but the regular versions you get. You know, it almost feels, and I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna be controversial here.
Okay, here
I'm
it
saying
is.
it.
I should have a controversial sound for Jordan.
Controversial.
It feels to me that 2K is nickel and diming you.
Oh, okay, wow.
Because they're double dipping.
Yeah,
They're double
because
dipping.
you got the microtransactions. You don't, and I'm not saying you have to give a free upgrade, right? I mean, I think that's nice of Cyberpunk to do and of Ubisoft to do, right? I think that's nice. But when you have all these game developers announcing, like, hey, if you buy it for current, you're going to get the free upgrade. And then you have 2K come out saying, giving like all their different editions. The only edition that upgrades is the $100 editions. We're raising the price of the standard edition plus microtransactions within the game. I'm not saying it's a bad game. I feel like Red Dead Redemption Online. They're nickel and diming you because that's how I feel with Red Dead Redemption Online with all their $5
Yeah, I
packs they
agree.
come out with. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting to see how it all shakes out and where we end up. But I do think what is apparent is the value of Game Pass and how, like Spicy said, forward-thinking Microsoft has been and is with Game Pass. If you want to get your games into the hands of 1 billion people, the only way that you're going to be able to do that is through a service like Game Pass.
At least 26 million from last year. So.
Yeah.